Moving up to the NFL now, Huntsville native Chester Rogers is staying in the AFC, but he's heading to the East Division. Today, the Lee High School alumnus signed a one-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. Miami signed Rogers to their roster after Dolphins wide receiver Allen Hurns and Albert Wilson both opted out for the 2020 season. The Huntsville native has spent his first 4 seasons with the Indianapolis Colts, where he caught 111 balls and scored 5 touchdowns. Rogers suffered a season-ending knee injury against the Tennessee Titans in Week 13 of the 2019 season.